Elsewhere in Cameroon, which like several other African countries is grappling with the rising cost of living. Citizens are forced to bear the brunt of higher food prices, coupled with the impact of a recent fuel subsidy reduction by the government, pushing up transport costs. Well, despite accompanying measures put in place by the authorities, as the BBC's Paul G looks at the now reality of life under difficult circumstances in the capital, Yaoundé.
Each day marks the beginning of a new struggle for millions of Cameroonians. Rising food costs are such a heavy burden, it's hard to tell when things will improve. 53-year-old Stella Ancho knows perhaps more than anyone else what it means to live in an expensive city like Yaoundé.
My family is suffering. Whenever the landlord comes asking for the rent, we can't afford to pay.
She and her family moved here 5 years ago after fleeing an armed conflict in the country's northwest. Now, Stella can barely afford to provide a steady meal for all 13 family members who live in this small apartment. She's got no permanent job, so it's difficult to keep up with the soaring prices. Her story mirrors the everyday experiences of many across the country.
When we first got here, we could buy food with small amounts of money. But now, food prices have gone up.
According to finance website Business Insider, Cameroon is among the 10 African countries with the highest costs of living. The National Institute of Statistics says reduced local production, poor harvest, and security issues are disrupting food supply. What's more, people are dealing with a 15% increase in fuel prices. After years of subsidizing the cost of imported fuel, the government reduced its subsidy this month for the second time in a year. To cushion the hikes, it introduced measures such as a 5% pay rise for civil servants and a slight increase in the minimum wage. Nevertheless, taxi drivers are particularly feeling the pinch.
Before, we could go to work and make 5,000 francs or 7,000 francs. But the money we use to feed the family with now goes to feed the car.
After negotiations with trade unions, authorities have increased the fares that transport providers are allowed to charge customers. The government says price hikes are necessary because the fuel subsidies were costing the economy too much, a view held by some financial experts.
The International Monetary Fund has been consistent in mounting pressure on Cameroonian authorities to either reduce fuel subsidies or scrap them altogether. Recent subsidy cuts suggest that government might be yielding to the IMF's pressure.
But some economists disagree with the measures.
What we are going to see in the future, if things are not done the right way, is that, of course, speculation will come in. Prices will go up. You will see a lot of young people, if they are not capable of doing the business the way they were doing, they will have to look for other means. And you might get to an extreme where we will see increase in crime rate.
The government insists the phased reduction of fuel subsidies will ensure economic stability and release funds for other projects. But in 2008, high fuel and food prices sparked protests in major cities across the country. With similar moves seen in neighboring Nigeria recently, it's not clear how far Cameroonians might go this time if their purse continues to run dry. Paul G, BBC News, Yaoundé.